Hi friends, welcome to EB Knits. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I appreciate every comment, every subscriber, every view. It's just crazy and exciting that you are here and interested in hearing about my makes. And today I'm talking about a finished object. No, it's not what I'm wearing. It is a tank top that was a little too chilly today to feel comfortable wearing outside. It is the Simple Secret Crop by Jessie May, is I believe what it's called. I'll put it on the screen because it's always a tongue twister for me. I always get the alliteration messed up. So this is, let me just show you it. Here it is, I finished it. And I will insert finished object pictures and in process pictures and all of that. And I will talk about it. I've talked about it in a couple previous podcasts, but I will talk about it all right. It's also on my Ravelry page, but I'm going to talk about it all right here, all the modifications I made and what I did and what I learned, what I would or wouldn't do next time. But I didn't even introduce myself. So my name is Emily. I'm the founder and creator behind everything you see here at EB Knits, on the channel, in my shop, all of the things. I love creating eco-friendly handmade accessories with a pop of color. Mostly they're knit, some are crochet, and some are other crafts that I'm delving into. But here today is just talking about my knitting and my making for myself. So I am wearing the Kaleidoscope cardigan. It is a design by Knit Collage, and I don't know if I assume it's available now because it was a while back that I participated in the knit along. This is not Knit Collage yarn though, this is just scrap yarn that I had, and I made some modifications. I believe I do have a YouTube finished object about it, just about the modifications because I used scrap yarn, so didn't have enough for sleeves and some other things, but I made it work. So that is what I'm wearing. Now let's get back to this tank top. So I'll show it off once again. This is my first time ever knitting I-cord. I think that's what this is called. I really liked it. It's not too stretchy, it's very sturdy. This is my first Jessie May design. Oh my gosh, cannot recommend it enough. So I downloaded it at the beginning of the pandemic. She had it as a free download to kind of like be her test knitters, and then I never did it. And to be honest, I wasn't sure I ever would because I was intimidated by the tightness of the fit, as well as the 3x3 rib, and how short it was, I should say. Not so much with the rib, but how short it was. And decided what made me actually do it was this yarn. This yarn on the top is from Ken Yarn. It was in June, I believe it was, for Pride Month. He had a colorway dedicated to Trans Lifeline, and that is what this colorway is. So proceeds went to Trans Lifeline, which I believe is the only, or at the time at least, was the only national US-based phone bank run by trans people for trans people. And then the bottom is, so this is Superwash Merino and DK. This whole thing is DK. And this bottom blue is Sugar Baby Alpaca from Wool and the Gang. So I did mix fibers, and I tried some new things with my knitting process. So let me just get back to overall, I'm very happy with it. Totally recommend this pattern as well as any other Jessie May pattern. I will definitely be knitting more. I really like her. I never thought I would want to knit bottoms, but her flutter butt shorts that she just came out with, I really like. So, excuse me, that was an interesting noise. So I will definitely be knitting more of her patterns in the future. I was very pleased with how well written this was. I think I'm gonna knit the Simple Summer Crop. No, that's what this is. No. I'm gonna knit the other one that was like a sister to this, but it's just stockinette eventually, and I think I'm gonna use more of a summery fiber like cotton or linen or something. And that'll be in due time though. I've got other projects planned that you will see. The pattern, like I said, love it, recommend the designer. The 3x3 rib did get boring, to be quite honest. Like, I don't love rib. I'm sure if someone else did, it would be great. But it was a nice, relaxing knit. I didn't have to think about it when it was just the body part. Like, you just knit and knit and knit. Or whatever. Rib, technically. And I would just do it watching, just literally, I would just sometime when I just wanted something to do with my hands, when I was having a conversation or, you know, nights at home, whatever. that was nice for this. It was no thinking involved, so that was definitely nice. I didn't even expect to finish it I was hoping to finish in February. That obviously didn't happen, and when I didn't, I was just like, whatever. And then last night, I was just on the phone with my sister and knitting, and look at what happened. I bound off and finished. That's kind of my only negative about it. For me, also, this is a totally personal thing. I struggled with gauge lately, and it doesn't mean such a loose knitter. I don't know, I've just struggled with tightening my knitting up. So I tried something new. I tried Norwegian purling. I watched a tutorial from Arne and Carlos, and I gauge swatched, got gauge with a needle size, I don't remember the exact needle size, but it was a needle size down from the pattern. So that's what I went with to start. But then I felt like it was looking really loose, so I just, took my tape measure out and checked what my actual gauge of my garment was, and it was even looser than my gauge swatch. And I blocked it and everything. So I went down another needle size, just like a couple inches into it, to be honest, because I was like, I don't want to rip back, and it's not a big deal to me. So that was what my thinking was. I just went for it, and I'm okay with that. I feel like looking at it right now, you can kind of tell. Like, I can kind of tell. I don't know that other people will be able to tell. But just that I was really loose when I started. And then I feel like as I went, I got even tighter. I got more used to the Norwegian purling and knitting. I was able to create a little more tension. And again, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially when I tried it on. Like, I think it's fine. I'm just saying, I think looking at it right now, I can see it. But also, I'm pleased with that because I really want to get a little bit tighter. Like, not to be so crazy loose. So, that is a personal thing. I think it worked out. And I also did the tubular bind off. I've done it a couple times. I don't know. Usually I like it. I'm always like, look at it. Don't know if you can see, but I always look at it like too hard and be like, it's not cute. And then, like, for example, I had this sweater. I did tubular bind offs for everything. The sleeves, the collar, the bottom. And when I was doing it, I thought it looked not great. And then I wore it for Christmas. I always get really critical on myself about everything, but especially like this tubular bind off, it seems like. But for example, what I was saying about that sweater was I went back and wore it for Christmas, and I was admiring how pretty the tubular bind off looked. So I'm always critical right away, and then eventually I realized it actually looks nice. So that's what I'm thinking will happen here. It looks fine. Yeah, I think I mentioned this. This is my first time doing an I-cord, which I believe the straps are an I-cord. And I think because I knit so loose, I could have even gone down one more size, potentially. I don't know, because the top is like clearly looser than the rest of it when I look at it, especially, I don't know. It's fine. One more note about the tubular bind off. I feel like I did it kind of tight. So hopefully when it's done blocking, it stretches a little. Although only so much can be done, but I just felt like it was really tight yesterday on my waist. And also when I tried it on yesterday, the superwash merino felt really good against my skin, but the baby alpaca was a little bit itchy, which was really interesting to me because I have another baby alpaca garment. It's not as tight, but I do wear it with just nothing under it, and it doesn't bother me. It's super soft. I really like it. That's a Lion brand baby alpaca though, and this one is, like I said, Wool and the Gang, and it's the first time I'm using their baby alpaca. It's really soft, but on my skin it felt a little itchy yesterday, but I think it's probably just gonna a matter of getting used to. Okay, so let's get into my actual modifications and my crazy stuff. So this garment is supposed to be knit from the bottom up. I had one skein of this speckled yarn, or I don't know what it's technically called in dyer terms, but I had one skein of this colorful yarn, this blue and pink yarn, and I wanted to use all of it, but I was picky and I wanted that to be the top half and I wanted the blue to be the bottom half of my garment. So I thought I could do a provisional cast on and just knit a little bit of the 3x3 and then go into this top part with all the decreases and whatnot and knit the straps, and then, you know, pick up provisional cast off and keep going until I run out of this top yarn and just switch to the blue yarn. Now, I did that. I did all of that. And then when I did that. I did the provisional cast on, knit up all of this, and then it came time, I was right here. You can see the line here, but actually I'm pleased I didn't notice it when I tried it on. So that made me happy. So right here is where I picked up my provisional cast on to knit down. Not realizing you can use a provisional cast on with knitting, like knit stitches, but it doesn't look as, it's obvious. It's half a stitch over, and it's obvious in ribbing. So I said, this is not cute. I want to try making another panel and Kitchener-ing it together, and maybe that will look less obvious. And maybe it looks a little less obvious, but I can still definitely see the seam. So that is what it is. And again, I didn't notice it when I tried it on, thankfully, so I think I'm good. But ultimately what I did was I provisional cast, so I took a second piece, provisionally cast on with, again, this blue and pink yarn, knit an inch or knit a couple inches, then I Kitchenered the two provisional sides together, and then I just continued down. When I ran out of this, I switched to the blue. That was my process, and that's what I did. It worked out in the end. I highly recommend just following the pattern. Next time I would not be so picky. I would just either knit the blue until whenever I think is appropriate and then finish with this, and if I have some left over, it's no big deal, or just have this color on the bottom and have the blue on the top or some other color on the top. Not be so picky, but that's what I did. And honestly, I think it looks fine. So that is the story behind my simple secret crop by Jessie May. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure that's all my modifications. Would I knit it again? I liked the pattern. I would probably knit it again, but I'm not knitting it again right away because a 3x3 is just a lot of ribbing that I don't love. But yeah, if I want another mindless knit or something, yeah, totally. I'm also gonna try knitting more like summery items this year. That's gonna be a goal of mine, because while these heavier things are nice for days like today, most of the days are more appropriate for tank tops and stuff, so, or lighter cotton and linen and whatnot. So anyway, that's my wrap up of my tank. I do recommend it, and if you don't like ribbing, try out the stockinette version, which is also available on Ravelry, and I think that one's even free. So yeah, there's my summary. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. If you want to see my makes like in process, I do share them on Instagram, and I'm EBKnits. So share. I would love to follow you. Tell me what you're working on, or if you've made this. And my crazy way just made it way more complicated. I should have just simplified it by following the pattern so it was perfectly written. So thanks, guys.